Pro Wrestling Weekly. For over 20 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment radio talk.
Is cooking.
WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly,
the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
And he's obviously Michael Cole.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
You really do sound like a
grizzled old vet. Is that what you were going with there?
Yes.
To not get you in trouble?
Oh, I'll get in trouble at some point. Believe me, I'll do something.
Well, to keep you out of trouble in this case, at least.
And now, here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Ooh, I'm getting good at this radio thing.
Yeah. It only took you 5.5 years.
I'm not good at it yet. I'm starting.
Yeah.
Only slightly.
Slowest escalator upward.
Shut up!
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, flying solo today, as both Twitch and Mitch have various occupational obligations and, contrary to popular belief, have nothing to do with Dungeons & Dragons. We'll get more into that story in a moment here, as that has been rather interesting, thanks to the interwebs over the course of the last few days here. We can go ahead and get that going now here, as that's, well, it's definitely an interesting and fun talking point, and I'm kind of intrigued to see where people stand on this here. So the internet lost its mind on MJF, Maxwell Jacob Friedman of AEW fame, regarding a social media post. So the salt of the earth, he recently enraged Dungeons & Dragons fans when he posted a gym selfie on Tuesday and said, quote, "I don't play Dungeons & Dragons." Obviously an indication that instead of playing a tabletop role-playing game of that nature, that he's putting his time in the gym instead, and that's the result of it. Well, just being a bad guy like he does, inciting the anger of people. Well, he certainly did that, and it also got some interesting other responses, including, well, other fitness celebrities who are actually defending the tabletop role-playing game. Most notably, actor Joe Manganiello of Spider-Man and True Blood fame. He was also voted one of Men's Health magazine's 100 fittest men of all time. Well, he tweeted a response of his cover photo from Muscle and Fitness magazine simply with the response, "I do." So almost a bit of a, what are you trying to say here, MJF, kind of a thing going on. And so too did Friedman's future opponent, as far as in the ring, Brandon Cutler, who that's kind of where all this is going, as Cutler's character is, well, He's kind of like a muscular nerd. He does the whole LARPing thing, and he plays Dungeons & Dragons and has characters and all sorts of that nature. So it was meant to be a dig at him, but it, well, turned out to dig a lot of other people as well. Cutler, who had stated, "I do play Dungeons & Dragons," and while taking a rather vascular and muscular selfie. Various people on Twitter also responded with examples of other celebrities, especially the fitter ones who play D&D, including Terry Crews, Vin Diesel, and even others in WWE like The Big Show, Ember Moon, and Xavier Woods. Now, hilariously, and this just goes to show that, I guess, while people attempt to stereotype things like nerd rage, that there isn't really much of that. That there were responses by D&D players offering invitations to play. One person tweeting, quote, "I love how instead of people insulting MJF, the D&D community are mostly inviting him to their tables. I love this community," end quote. So yeah, lots of, and now there was the occasional needling as well in other senses. So it wasn't all positive necessarily, but there were some who, they found a way to keep in character, but also keep it rather cordial, but also wrestling related here. I'm looking for the specific quote here. I thought I had it at the top, but Twitter tended to shuffle things around a little bit here. But it was something along the lines, oh, here we go. Sounds like you probably had a bad introduction to D&D, friend. No worries, I did too. With the right group and a bit of trust, you'll have the time of your life. Heck, maybe even ask Brandon Cutler to run a game for you after he picks you up off the mat. That coming from tweeter Matthew Mercer. So, yeah, there's certainly a lot of fun to be had with this, and I think too much fun because it gave the opposite effect of what MJF was going for. So, I guess, now I can't really speak to the credibility of it as I didn't look through all 2,446 responses to said tweet from just 4 days ago. That's a lot of skimming to do here, but everything seemed to be kind of thumbing nose at it at worst and inviting at best. But apparently, well, according to MJF, there were also death threats, allegedly. Though the only source that I found from that was Friedman himself, who this past Wednesday tweeted, quote, "You guys thought I got a lot of death threats before? Turns out geeks that live in their parents' basement and play Dungeons & Dragons are very violent. I guess all of Brandon Cutler fans are terrible human beings. Shocking." And they had the eye roll emoji with hashtag better than you, end quote. So he's kind of doubling down on it to try to, again, incite more negative reaction because, yeah, he attempted to poke fun at a particular community, attempted to be a bit of a bully instead of a star, I suppose, as the old WWE segment goes. And in a way, it backfired. I mean, Twitter can be rather hilarious. Just in skimming through here, there are quite a few that I can't necessarily read over the air, but just some of the things. There was a response to MJF saying, "Hot girls play Dungeons and Dragons. Sorry, you're missing out," and then it just kind of spiraled from there in terms of hilarity. But yeah, there wasn't really any. Actually, this was one fun response that somebody had. Kayfabe in 2019, MJF more like MVP with a GIF noting, it has a hook with a fish grabbing onto it, and then it spells out, "This is bait." Which, yeah, it probably is what it was, and I don't think that a lot of people really took the bait. Some people did and were a little more insulting, but, you know, that's... Yeah, I mean, one person here, this is like someone bragging, "I don't read, and that's just a shame. Max, friends will help you, just ask." So, I don't know. I find it funny and a little bit unfortunate that, I mean, of all the places to go, the tired, cliched living in your parents' basement line, couldn't come up with something a little more original? Maybe? Now, that being said, prior to him being with AEW, I have worked with Maxwell on an occasion or two at the Monster Factory, and yeah, he is he is, at least behind the scenes, a nice enough dude. So that's why I think it's just, all right, this is him being in character. Either that or he was saying stuff behind my back, who knows. And I've just been informed here, so I presumed, and shame on me for presuming, that Mitch was not here due to occupational obligations. It turns out he's actually doing a fundraiser over at his high school, Ben Salem High School. It's a mattress fundraiser that's going on today. So that started at 10 o'clock, and I guess will be going on, it looks like, until 5 o'clock today, which is why he won't be joining us. So yeah, little mattress fundraiser certainly doesn't hurt. And that's going to be at the Aux Gym. And, yeah, get a great deal on a better night's sleep. So that's where Mitch is. It's supporting the Ben Salem High School marching band, to which he's a part of. So, yeah, slight shameless plug. And that's just some information that came into the mix here. So, contrary to popular belief, no, he is not somewhere playing Dungeons and Dragons. That might be on the schedule tomorrow, but who knows? But yeah, I mean, parents' basement? No. All right, what? It is what it is, I guess. But I thought that was hilarious, and where am I in that camp? I have played Dungeons and Dragons. I like it, but it's not. It's the commitment thing. There's just it's a time factor. Weekly basis, lots of things going on. But that's a thing. So coming up a little bit later in the hour here, well, we've got the results. We'll go over Clash of Champions. We also have the King of the Ring results, as that occurred this past Monday. So we do have a crowned king that we're certainly going to at least give the accolades of, even though it kind of fell by the wayside to a lot of other things. We'll continue to sing the praises of the Fiend. There'll be more of that coming up a little bit later. Also, more stuff heading into SmackDown making the move to Fridays, because as crazy as it is to think, we are just 13 days away from that move. Yeah, it's... I know it feels like it's been talked about for a while, but there have been a lot of interesting shakeups, and not to be confused with the Superstar shakeup, but there have been a few different things going on with that. Also, a noted pay-per-view of the past making a return, at least somewhat. And also some NWA news as well, some AEW news, little all over the board here, and even a Who's the Daddy issue. Yes, we're going to get into all that with Maria Kanellis as well, as that part of me wants to laugh and part of me just wants to facepalm, and I'm probably going to end up doing both with it, especially considering what interesting direction they have taken with this as the continued emasculation of Mike Bennett rolls on. Yeah. So all that and a whole bunch more coming your way here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Here's another What's It Worth Antique Minute. If your 14-karat gold bracelet weighs 1 troy ounce, how much gold do you really have? Because gold is a soft and malleable metal, it must be mixed with another metal, such as copper or tin, to make it hard enough to endure day-to-day wear. Pure .999 gold is defined as 24 karat. So if you have a 14-karat gold bracelet, 14 over 24 means that your bracelet would be approximately 58.5% pure gold mixed with 41.5% of another base metal. So your 14-karat 1 troy ounce gold bracelet would contain approximately 0.585 ounces of pure gold. If the spot price of gold is $1,200 per ounce, your 14-karat gold bracelet, having no gemstones, would have a ballpark scrap gold value of approximately $450 to $500. Auctioneer, appraiser, and home downsizing expert Mike Ivankovich hosts What's It Worth? Ask Mike the Appraiser radio show. And you can tune in on Friday mornings from 9 to 10 on WBCB 1490 or on the internet at WBCB1490.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Lee Piccarello inviting you to tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. to The Head Game, a must-listen show for athletes and coaches of all levels and ages. Mindful Athlete Training in Newtown, Pennsylvania is a mental circuit training program that prepares the athletes to perform at the highest level of today's game. Athletes get into the zone faster and stay there longer. Tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. right here on WBCB 1490 AM and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com.
More people are online every day to check and pay their bills. Now you can have your BCWSA utility bill delivered electronically. Enrollment couldn't be easier. Just go to bcwsa.net or call 800-222-2068. With e-billing, you have control to see your bills when you want, set reminders for each new bill, and best of all, the service is free. Sign up for e-billing at bcwsa.net. Your partner for a safer environment, BCWSA. Proven.
Join Paul Jolovitz every week for the Monday Night Kickoff Show. For guest and show information, visit WBCBSports.com.
The Bristol Borough Community Action Group Food Bank at 99 Wood Street in Bristol has been serving Lower Bucks County since 1971. It's your monthly tax-deductible donations that allow us to provide food for hundreds of households each month. Please consider a generous one-time or recurring monthly donation at www.givebucks.org. That's www.givebucks.org. Help us help those in need. Please donate today. The Bristol Borough Community Action Group, 99 Wood Street, Bristol, PA 19007.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
See, he's got the Luigi death stare from Fearon, so he might have to...
I didn't give you the Luigi death stare. That's not true.
You're breaking kayfabe.
Breaking kayfabe. Gonna break something else during this commercial.
There we go. That's what I like to see.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Are we getting into that controversy again?
I know how it feels, and it's not fun.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, flying solo today. Twitch has occupational obligations, and, well, Mitch is trying to sell mattresses. That wasn't a funny line. That's the truth. All right, moving on. We've got the Clash of Champions where, oh, goodness. I'm slightly ashamed as, while I didn't do badly with my picks, I got bested by both Twitch and Mitch. So, yeah, Twitch went 9-2 for the pay-per-view. Mitch 8-3. I went 7-4. So, does that pretty much mean
I have to retire after the show?
Well, I don't know about all that. No, Ted, it was a joke. I'm not actually going to. See a furrowed brow in the other room from Ted Efog, who's coming up next year on WBCB with the Country Road Show. But yes, going over things here. So Drew Gulak, he retained the cruiserweight title, taking on Humberto Carrillo and Lince Dorado in that triple threat match. Nice to see some new faces getting into the mix here. But as long as WWE continues to treat it as an afterthought by having it as the kind of pre-show opening act, I wonder where else we saw that, where cruiserweights were just kind of an afterthought and usually the beginning of a program. Oh yeah, Nitro did that for a while. How'd that work out? Well, it worked out all right for him for a little bit, and then greed kind of came in the way. So we'll see. I mean, we've got somebody else in charge of WWE who I guess you could argue has a thing or two to say when it comes to greed. I mean, probably most notably this.
It's all about the money. It's all about the money.
So, who knows? Comparisons? Possibly. The other pre-show match, AJ Styles retaining the United States title, defeating Cedric Alexander in Alexander's hometown in just under 5 minutes. It seems to be something about being in WWE, and when you're in your hometown, it not only do you have to lose, but lose handily. I don't know. And there's a theme with that, as we'll get into a moment here. this was definitely something where I thought it was going to go one of two ways, and I picked the opposite of what actually happened. But the new Raw Tag Team Champions, Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, beating Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman to be able to build more dissension for later in the night when the now former tag champs would face off against one another for Seth Rollins' Universal title. So it kind of went backwards on that. What can I say? And then, going back to the whole hometown thing, well, things not working out so great for Charlotte Flair, as she fell to Bayley challenging for the SmackDown Women's title, again in Charlotte, North Carolina. So another hometown person. Charlotte lost in just under 4 minutes to Bayley. That theme continues to hold true as far as the whole hometown thing. Now, a little bit of surprise, but I guess given the injury issues, it shouldn't be as much. But new SmackDown Tag Team Champions in The Revival, as they took on and defeated the New Day, Big E and Xavier Woods. So, did the other end of the New Day lose his title? Well, we'll find out in a little bit here. As next up was the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship, as it was Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defeating Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, and doing so pretty nicely in a nice 9-minute match. Also, the Intercontinental title, Shinsuke Nakamura and The Miz. Well, Nakamura ended up hanging on to retain, and we got all 3 of those correct here. Yeah, I was off on the tag titles. Well, I was off on both tag titles, in all honesty. But everything else was all right so far. That would be subject to change, though. Then you had Sasha Banks defeating Becky Lynch, the Raw Women's Champion, by disqualification. So Banks won, so technically Twitch and I get the W on that, but still champion is quote-unquote, the man, Becky Lynch, seeing as we talked about the potential legal ramifications that Ric Flair's trying to pursue regarding that. And then all 3 of us getting right the WWE Championship match, Kofi Kingston retaining, and hilariously is kind of a callback to 10 years earlier, yelling to him at the end, "Who's stupid now?" Referring to that match where Kingston wasn't quite where he needed to be for an RKO 10 years ago, and Orton unprofessionally just yelled at him, "Stupid, stupid." Yeah. But he's still highly revered, as even a decade later. I guess he's gotten a little bit more subdued, a little bit more cooperative in his elder years, as he's closing in on 40. He'll be 40 this April. How about that? And then Eric Rowan defeating Roman Reigns in the no disqualification match. All 3 of us whiffed on that one. And I got too cute for my own good with the Universal Championship. Rollins defeating Braun Strowman to retain. So, well, it was a good run while it lasted, Braun Strowman, but back to obscurity it looks like you will probably go. So, all told for the year, I'm at 64-27. Twitch is 4 picks ahead of me at 68-23. Mitch trailing at 57-34. So, still some room to make up ground, but I don't know. If I need to, as far as Mitch goes, he's about as close to catching up as the Phillies are. Only Mitch has a lot more opportunities. Not too many more, but still some. Alrighty. So in talking about the New Day and how things are going, they had to get things together for SmackDown, and in doing so, well, it made things a little bit interesting for a couple of weeks from now when SmackDown moves over to Fox. It was an interesting hook, and it was set up by a 6-man tag team match, as it was all 3 members of the New Day against Randy Orton and the Revival, or as the nickname was given, and I thought this was hilarious, FTRKO. Yeah, you know, at least I'm pretty sure you should, but yeah, the T and the R stand for the and the revival. Yeah, you can. Yeah, Cody was known for stating that on many occasions on the being the Elite videos. You can put two and two together with that. So yeah, here's the audio of what happened after that tag match, courtesy of WWE and the USA Network.
A much-needed victory for Woods and Big E alongside the WWE Champion Kofi Kingston. Maybe what the New Day needed was that loss in Clash of Champions. Maybe they truly did need to refocus, rebuild.
A bittersweet outcome at Clash of Champions.
No. What? Not. No.
Oh my God. Brock Lesnar is here on SmackDown Live.
Mr. Kingston, my name is Paul Heyman, and I am the advocate for the beast who not only stands in front of you tonight, but stands in the way of the longevity of your title reign. Brock Lesnar! My client has authorized me to inform you face to face, like a man, it's a bad day for the New Day. Yes, it is. In layman's terms, Mr. Kingston, what that means is the following. Kofi, my client, Brock Lesnar, hereby challenges you to a match for the WWE Heavyweight Championship of the World on Friday night, October 4th, at the Friday Night SmackDown premiere on Fox.
When I won this WWE title at WrestleMania, I made a promise to the entire WWE universe that I would be a fighting champion. So as far as your challenge is concerned, I accept.
And as well and good as that was, well, right after that, Lesnar kind of half-heartedly went in for a handshake and ended up picking Kofi Kingston up and delivering an F5 to him, sending a message as to how that's going to go. Now, interestingly enough, that match is just 2 days before. That is essentially the go-home show for the next WWE Network special or pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, Hell in a Cell, which is they've got some work to do to get that card together here, as that event is just 2 weeks from tomorrow, just 15 days away from Hell in a Cell, and well, the poster for it is great with the two, as opposed to the three faces of Foley, the two faces of Bray Wyatt, his standard face as well as the Fiend face. As I didn't get as much into it just going over the results, but after the the WWE Universal Championship match against Braun Strowman, well, Rollins was able to retain the title after 4 stomps. Finishers apparently aren't finishers anymore. That's a whole nother rant for another day. But after the match, the Fiend Bray Wyatt appeared and attacked Rollins with the Sister Abigail and the Mandible Claw. And that has set up for that pay-per-view Seth Rollins against the Fiend Bray Wyatt in a Hell in a Cell match. Interesting. And the other match set up is there's a women's Hell in a Cell match. It's going to be Becky Lynch defending the Raw Women's title against Sasha Banks. I guess after the disqualification, things heating up, business picking up, as they say. So that's 2 of the matches that are set for 2 weeks from tomorrow, and we'll see where things go along the way. But we know for sure that 2 days prior, it's going to be Brock Lesnar and Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship. Now, I know things have been kind of serious. I'm going to kind of take a step back and get a little bit of hilarity out here, as this is a story that I'd seen. Twitch had actually posted it from Syracuse.com, and knowing him, it's an excuse to bust out a certain tune, which I will in a moment here. But it's a story about how a WWE star villain who wrestling fans love to hate became a principal in the middle of New York State. The story focuses on Mark Capani, a WWE wrestler from 2005, who, well, that name may not sound familiar, but now this is where the tune comes into play. Yeah, that's right. Despite Capani being Italian-American, he became famous when he was asked to wrestle as an Arab-American character, Muhammad Hassan. Hey, you remember that. Just in case you don't, he would rile up crowds complaining about prejudice against Arab Americans during after the September 11th attacks, as well as other grievances. But now at age 39, he just became a principal of a junior high school. All right, we can get this out of here. He said that being released from WWE was a blessing in disguise because he loves being an educator, and after getting released in 2005, he ended up going back to college, getting his degree in education, and eventually went on to be an assistant principal at this junior high school in the Syracuse area, and just recently got promoted to the principal. His departure, well, it came from some poor timing on WWE's part. It's a little uncomfortable to even talk about, regarding the skit that resembled a radical terrorist act as he began to, quote-unquote, pray, summoning 5 masked men in black shirts, ski masks, camo pants, and armed with clubs and piano wire. Making matters worse, and this is where the ill timing on WWE's part came in, is that the skit aired at the same time as the July 2005 London terrorist bombings. So the television network that was carrying SmackDown at the time, UPN, they pressured WWE to drop the character from TV, and drop it they did in a very, very, very swift fashion. So, yeah, now it's one of those feel-good stories, as usually with wrestlers, once they leave, it's a roll of the dice as to how things are going to go. But he said in the interview that he doesn't miss the injuries, but he does miss as a lot of wrestlers do, that rush of being out in the crowd and things of that nature. It's a definite catch-22. And even as recently as 2 years ago, he had wrestled twice for charity, and he said after that, no more. So you won't be seeing a return to the ring from him, at least in a competitive capacity, as it looks like that ship has sailed. Now, we talked a bit about SmackDown, and another addition to shake things up. The latest WWE Draft will begin on that October 11th edition of SmackDown. It was confirmed, actually, by Fox during this past Sunday's NFL coverage. It was labeled as breaking news during the Green Bay Packers-Minnesota Vikings game on Fox, and that same day, WWE issued a press release to confirm that the second night of the draft would occur on the October 14th edition of Raw. So, I guess if anybody knows anything about drafting players and competitors, it's the NFL, so leave it to them to kind of bring in this, in this case it's for Fox because they are getting SmackDown, but they also are, they're looking to have the draft here, so we'll see certain stars go from Raw to SmackDown, SmackDown to Raw, possibly NXT to either Raw or SmackDown. No mention as far as NXT being involved, so I think it's just going to be the two main players, but it'll be interesting. They're going to actually have dignitaries from Fox and from USA Network who I guess have they're kind of cherry picking their favorites. It almost seems like choosing teams for basketball on the elementary school playground, one of those type things. It does note here, on both nights of the draft, superstars from Raw and SmackDown will appear along with personalities from Fox and NBC Universal programming who will announce select picks from each brand. The draft will determine the superstars that compete for Raw and SmackDown, which feature distinct casts, unique storylines, and dedicated writing teams. That last part made me hit the brakes a little bit. Let me read that again. Distinct casts, unique storylines, and dedicated writing teams. How many times have we gone with the Raw is going to be different than SmackDown, SmackDown is going to be different than Raw, and it turns out that, like in the Ace Ventura Pet Detective movie, Finkel is Einhorn and Einhorn is Finkel. That they just kind of merge everything back together. And I mean, we even had that earlier this year. I mean, how quickly can we forget the what is it?
Hang on a second. I just had an epiphany.
Yeah, the epiphany from Vince McMahon, the wild card rule that allowed him to label himself,
I'm brilliant.
And
I'm a genius.
Although that kind of fell by the wayside too, because nobody really, they don't really know what exactly they want. They're still trying to figure all that out, and I guess this is kind of the compromise between the two networks. I think it's hard to say, but yeah, if they end up reneging on it again, I think we'll probably be hearing more of this.
This whole thing is embarrassing. It really is.
So let's hope it doesn't come to that. So I don't know. It is very interesting, to say the least. So I'm going to take care of our second time out here. We'll come back. We've got Today in Wrestling History. We've got some more news and notes here for you. Also, things are going to be rather explosive on the other side, courtesy of AEW. Also, we'll talk about a former WWE wrestler who's going to be competing in Bellator. And we still have to get into the, I guess we'll call it the daddy issues that are going on WWE programming, thanks to Maria Kanellis. All that and more here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Everything you wanted to know about funerals and planning but did not know who to ask. Tune in on Mondays at 9 a.m. to the Galzerano Funeral Home. More than just a funeral home, Louis A. Galzerano III has been serving Bucks County for over 100 years. Family owned and operated by Louis and his wife Carol. Galzerano Funeral Home serves all faiths and nationalities. A full-service funeral home with a full line of cremation options and a crematory on the premises. 2 locations to serve you and your family, one in Bristol and one in Levittown. Call 215-788-2821 or 215-945-8484. Special rates to show our thanks to all servicemen and women as well as the FOP. Galzerano Funeral Home, 215-788-2821 or 215-945-8484.
Join former Phillies pitcher Ricky Bottalico and Tommy Green along with host John Brazier for the Baseball Insider Show presented by SEPTA this and every Sunday prior to Phillies baseball. For guest and location information, visit WBCB1490.com. It's the Baseball Insider Show presented by SEPTA this Sunday prior to Phillies baseball right here on 1490 WBCB and video stream live on Facebook and at WBCBsports.com.
All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
Elena had another asthma attack. She's really sad to miss school again.
Asthma can be triggered by allergens from common pests.
I just can't shake this fever.
Mosquito bites can cause West Nile and Zika virus infections.
Sorry, boss. I'm going to be out of work for a while.
The CDC estimates that more than 300,000 Lyme disease cases spread by ticks occur in the U.S. each year. Don't let pests force you to take a sick day. Learn how to protect your family at pestworld.org. A public service message from the National Pest Management Association and the CDC.
You won't see termites crawling across your floor, but thousands might be devouring the wood in your walls, weakening the structure of your home. For over 50 years, termite proofing and pest control of the Delaware Valley has been in the exterminating business. If you think you have a pest problem, they're the experts. Call them today at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 for TPPC. Termite proofing and pest control of the Delaware Valley gives your home or business peace of mind, knowing your pest problem is in their hands. Located at 1560 Bristol Pike in Bensalem, they use only EPA-approved material applied by licensed technicians. Call Termite Proofing and Pest Control of the Delaware Valley at 215-639-5455.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, September 21st. On this date in 1998, WCW Monday Nitro aired live from Boston, Massachusetts. In the main event, Stevie Ray and The Giant fought Kevin Nash and Lex Luger to a no contest. On this date in 2003, WWE held its Unforgiven pay-per-view. In the main event, Goldberg pinned Triple H to win the World Heavyweight Championship. On this date in 2009, WWE Monday Night Raw aired live from Little Rock, Arkansas. In the main event, Chris Jericho, Randy Orton, and The Big Show defeated John Cena, Mark Henry, and MVP in a 6-man tag team match. On this date in 2014, WWE held its Night of Champions pay-per-view. In the main event, John Cena defeated WWE World Heavyweight Champion Brock Lesnar by disqualification. This has been Today in Wrestling History, September 21st.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, flying solo today as, well, Twitch is working and Mitch is raising money for the old high school marching band. So, yeah, if you need a mattress, today's the day to do so. Head on over to Bensalem High School between now and 5 o'clock. You might even see him out there. In fact, I know you will. Where exactly? Well, you'll have to go over to find out. But no, seriously, it's for a good cause, Bensalem High School Marching Band. Definitely a good time. I might even pop on over to throw a couple of shekels their way since I just recently got a mattress, but to at least show some support. Because it's all about the local support here. And it's also all about the wrestling and not all about the money. Sorry, Vince. As, well, one other thing that occurred this week that, I don't know, it felt a little underwhelming, I guess because of the move from the pay-per-view to Raw the next night, but none other than the finals of the King of the Ring. Now, the reason why I feel a little disappointed, I guess, is I don't know of too many people, apart from Twitch, who gave Chad Gable a chance, considering that most of the tournament, Gable was just the subject of various height jokes, short jokes and things of that nature. I was waiting to see on the WWE website if, in terms of the King of the Ring tournament, if they made the headline, Chad Gable falls short in effort to become King of the Ring. Just so they can get that one last one out there. But that being said, Baron Corbin is your King of the Ring, and it doesn't look as though, at least for now, that we're going to have King Corbin as a lot of the past King characters following King of the Ring wins. I mean, we've seen King Harley Race, we've seen Macho King Randy Savage, we saw the King of Hearts Owen Hart, we saw King Mabel, King Booker. All hail King Booker! Just to name a few, and I'm sure there's a couple that I'm forgetting in between there, but it just, I don't know. The King of the Ring tournament, I like the one-dimensional King character, the bow down to me, that sort of thing, is that I'm not as big of a fan of. But that's just me. I think there was even that brief, oh, now I'm trying to remember here. Okay, yeah. Just trying to look and think at the same time here with all the various winners and whatnot. Yeah, I mean, King Harley Race, Macho King. Let's see, Owen, Mabel. That pretty much was it until Booker T. I mean, Regal to a degree. I think we briefly... Well, yeah, of course, King Barrett. No wonder he left WWE not too long after. So, yeah, there is that here. And there's also this I'm still shaking my head at. So, apparently, WWE is considering bringing in Maury Povich. Yes, you've seen him on TV for years. He is noted for the memeable "You Are Not the Father" because of the various paternity settlements that they provide via paternity tests of various women presuming that one particular person that they had relations with is the baby daddy, and it turns out that they are not the father, and it's that intrigue of watching the guy basically celebrate like he won the lottery and the girl run off crying. It's amazing how that trope lasted for a really long time. For all I know, it still might. I don't know, is Maury even still on the air, or did that finally... No, okay, it is still... Wow, it is still going. I, for some reason, thought that it was canceled, but I was wrong. So the Maury Povich show's still going on. He's got to be way up there, though. Is he? What is he? His 70s now at this point? No, he just turned 80 earlier this year. Okay, so I even... Yeah, still doing that thing, though, with the "You Are Not the Father." But apparently there's a debate regarding Maria Kanellis, Mike Bennett, and Rusev? Yeah, Rusev made an appearance. It's been a whole weird thing, just the emasculation of Mike Bennett. So she's convinced that Mike Bennett can't be the father of her child, so she's basically throwing anybody and everybody out there. And WWE even tweeted to the Maury Povich show, and they just simply suggested a paternity test. So is that something potentially in the works for down the road? Who knows? I mean, Maury is one of those shows that actually films in Stamford, Connecticut, which is... not too far from WWE headquarters, so there could be, hey, stranger things have happened. I mean, Mae Young giving birth to a hand, for example. But, I mean, you could see Maury Povich involving himself in this mess for a little added draw, I suppose. Hey, if they can get Betty White in there, Maury Povich is a shoo-in. All right, moving on here. So WWE announced that Starrcade is returning, but it looks to be a 1-hour special on the WWE Network, and it's on Sunday, December 1st at 7 p.m. Eastern. So they're not even getting the full... They're not getting the full thing. They're getting part of essentially, it's a broadcast house show. And I think that's because the venue is kind of small. It's the Infinite Energy Center in Duluth, Georgia. Easy for me to say. Also switching over to the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, they announced that the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, they'll be taking part in the studio wrestling tapings that the promotion is holding on September 30th and October 1st in Atlanta at GPB Studios. They're also advertising Nick Aldis against Tim Storm for the NWA Championship, and appearances by Jim Cornette, Camille, and Colt Cabana for the tapings as well. So, who knows? Although, it'll be interesting to see. It's always good to see the Rock and Roll Express. They just seem to defy time. And they continue to. Although, despite that, well, time is definitely ticking for a little further for, well, one in particular. But we'll get into that in about a couple minutes here. AEW issuing a press release Thursday to announce that AEW Dynamite is the name of the company's weekly television series on TNT. So I don't know if that's just a little, hey, we're going to kind of be just like WCW instead of Nitro, it's Dynamite, haha. But that being said, that the highly anticipated action-packed matches for Dynamite will take place in different cities across the nation each week on Wednesdays, starting in Washington, D.C. at the famed Capital One Arena, and future matches announced so far will be held in Boston, Massachusetts, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, Charleston, West Virginia, Charlotte, North Carolina, Nashville, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Indiana, and Chicago, Illinois. So it's interesting how they don't refer to them as cards, but they or even shows or events or anything like that, but they refer to the entire night of matches as matches. Interesting. Also, Netflix, they have renewed the Glow television series for a fourth and final season. Yes, Deadline.com reporting that the final season of Glow is expected to be released in 2020. So I guess they figured they've told as many stories as they can tell with it, so going to wrap it up this season here. And one last tidbit of information. Former WWE wrestler Jake Hager, you might remember him as Jack Swagger, well, he is scheduled to face Anthony Garrett at Bellator 231 on October 25th, according to MMAfighting.com. Hager is 2-0 in Bellator, and Garrett has a 4-2 MMA record. It's for Bellator 231, and it'll air live on Paramount Network. I didn't know what it is either. It's what used to be Spike TV. Now, if Bellator plays it right, because October 25th is a Friday, they'll save Hager's fight for the second hour of the show with the goal of getting SmackDown on Fox viewers to tune into the Paramount Network once SmackDown goes off the air for the night. So figure SmackDown from 8 to 10, flip over to the Paramount Network. Oh, look at that. There's Jack Swagger, that We the People guy. I remember him. Maybe. It's a possibility. And with that, we've got about 3 minutes left. Did I just hear myself say 3 minutes? No, that's the Eric Bischoff 3-minute warning bit. But that means that it is time for...
Birthdays!
That was like Ted Efaw meets Kermit the Frog on that. I don't know what was going on. I can't anymore. All right, 2 plus, we've got 6 Brucey bonuses, although there are a lot of celebrity birthdays. I probably could have gone to 10 if I wanted to. On this date in 1956, Richard Wendell Morton was born. The WWE Hall of Fame tag team wrestler from the NWA, AWA, Jim Crockett Promotions, ECW, WCW, WWE, TNA, basically everywhere. And I mentioned him earlier, known as Ricky Morton of the Rock and Roll Express. He turned 63 today. Wow. And still out there wrestling. On this date in 1987, Ivelisse Milagro Velez was born. The women's wrestler from WWE, TNA, Lucha Underground, Shine, and most recently part of AEW's Women's Casino Battle Royale, turns 32 today. Now to the Brucey bonuses, in this case 6 things that are outside of the world of wrestling. Firstly, on this date in 1936, this one's for Ted, Royden Dickey Lipscomb was born. I figured you did. The pop country singer and songwriter with hit songs including Patches, Never-Ending Song of Love, Rocky, and Angels, Roses, and Rain, among others, known professionally as Dickie Lee, turns 83 today.
Plays guitar left-handed.
Oh, that I did not know. On this date in 1943, Jerome Leon Bruckheimer was born, the film and TV producer known for the various CSI crime scene investigation series, as well as films including Flashdance, Beverly Hills Cop, Pirates of the Caribbean, Top Gun, and many more, known simply as Jerry Bruckheimer, turned 76 today. On this date in 1944, Patricia Neal was born, the actress and author known for being a semi-regular panelist on Match Game and writer of the novel-turned motion picture Fried Green Tomatoes, known professionally as Fanny Flagg, turned 75 today. Yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah. On this date in 1947, Stephen Edwin King was born, the horror novel author whose books have sold more than 350 million copies. He turned 72 today. On this date in 1950, this name might sound familiar, William James Murray was born. The actor, comedian, and writer from Saturday Night Live, Caddyshack, Ghostbusters, Scrooge, Groundhog Day, so much else. Bill Murray turned 69 today. And finally, on this date in 1959, David Alan Coulier was born. The stand-up comedian, voice actor, and actor, probably best known for playing Joey Gladstone on the TV series Full House, Uncle Joey. Uncle Joey is 60 today. Where the heck does the time go? Well, Ted Efaw's up next. He's going to bring you Country Roads and the spotlight artist of Dan Seals, and play us out, Nutsy.
1 o'clock in all's well.
Serving you better than ever before.